Good evening, listeners, or good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. My name's Pro Tipster Martin, and today I've got with me Pro Tipster Tom.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening.
Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. My name's Pro Tipster Martin, and today I've got with me. I had to mute that. So we haven't got Pro Tipster Dan today because he's out and about in Europe at the moment. I think recently he's said he was in Berlin, so he's having a great time at the moment. But Tom, you were missing last week because you were over in the UK. You went to see a championship game.
Oh yes, I've been to Craven Cottage. I've been to the Fulham game against Middlesbrough. It was the first championship game I ever attended, and I have to say I was truly impressed with the atmosphere and around the match, with the ground and with the fans and with the quality of football.
Did you sit in the Fulham end?
Yes. I sat behind the goal. In Europe here, on the continent, we are not used to having no nets behind the goal, so like that protect the fans from the ball. So that was scary in the first, as a first impression.
You can't take a beer either in England. You can't take a beer to your seat.
That was quite. I didn't mind that actually, because I really wanted to enjoy the game, and I did. It was 1-1 draw. Both goals were at the very end in last 10 minutes. Fulham took the lead, and then Middlesbrough leveled. And yeah, it was really good experience.
Oh, nice. They're both pretty good teams, to be fair. So I'm surprised Middlesbrough aren't doing as well as they should.
Yeah, they have got the quality to fight back for promotion. They're not performing as good as people would have expected, but it's a long competition. People say it's one of the toughest competition in the world to win the championship.
Yeah, I mean, if you get relegated from the Premier League, it's very, very difficult to come back up.
So many games to play.
Yeah, I think it's 40. Well, I don't want to say 46 games. I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's crazy.
And then potential playoffs as well.
Yeah, true. Okay, let's begin with our Premier League preview for this weekend. The Game Week 8 fixtures. We'll start with what we've been looking at all week, and that's our game of the week: Liverpool v United. That's the early kickoff on Saturday. What are your thoughts on this one, Tom?
Manchester United travel to Liverpool full of confidence.
Yeah.
They are the informed team, unlike Liverpool. They've got a great coach, Mourinho. They have all the potential to be successful, but of course this is a derby. This is a big game, big rivalry between two teams and the fans. So
yeah, football normally goes out the window, doesn't it, when a derby happens?
Exactly. But I still have in mind last season's results of these two. I think that it was 0-0 and 1-1. It was, I think, 0-0 at Anfield, and it was quite defensive performance from United. I don't know if we can expect something like that because with the lineup that United have now and with the form they are in, I would expect them to be more attacking minded.
Yeah.
But I'm expecting Liverpool to give them a hard fight. But I'm slightly concerned about Liverpool missing Mane. For me, seeing him a few times also live, his absence will be improved in previous matches. It's a big blow for them. What do you think, Martin?
Yeah, I think it's a huge loss. I don't know if they'll have enough to cope without Mane, to be honest. It's I know United are sort of missing a couple of their big guns as well, but Mane is just such a big part of what Liverpool do going forward, and I just don't know if they'll have enough. You've still got Firmino and Coutinho pulling the strings for Liverpool, but is that enough against, like you say, a really, really strong and informed Manchester United side? I don't know.
United have Fellaini out, Carrick out, Pogba out, which is also quite. Fellaini in his form is also quite a blow.
I don't know. It's one of those in this kind of game. I think as a United fan, you're sort of glad if Fellaini's not playing because there's always that risk that he'll throw an elbow and get sent off.
True as well. Could be as well. But yeah, Liverpool. Mane is missing in the attack, but there's an other side of the coin that how will Liverpool cope in the back against United, because they have defensive struggles for sorry to say, but for a few seasons now.
Yeah, for ages.
And the problems are not being solved, or they were not solved.
It's strange because everyone else, me and you, can see that Liverpool have got defensive problems, yet the people at Liverpool don't seem to do anything about it.
I don't think it's that straightforward. Maybe they do. It's just maybe not easy. They were not lucky with some of the signings they made into the defensive formation as well. But yeah, against a player like Lukaku, not sure they can. I wouldn't. Yeah, the difference of between United last season and this season, I think is they can score goals easier than last season. What do you think?
I don't know. It's a tough one to call. I mean, Liverpool's defence, let's be honest, like you say, is shaky. I mean, I don't know who's going to start in goal either tomorrow on Saturday. It'll probably be Mignolet, but he's just as bad as Karius. But defensively, I think personally, I think it'll be a both teams to score game. I think both teams will score. And I've actually gone for the draw in this one because, like I mentioned earlier, I think form goes out the window, and this is such a huge rivalry. Neither of them will want to lose. And I think Liverpool's pressing game will sort of work for them for most of the game. United won't have it all their own way. And yeah, just looking at the stats as well, if United win this, it'll be the best ever start to a Premier League season.
Yeah, 20
after 8 games, which is pretty
20 points, yeah.
Considering obviously they've won a fair few over the years. And like you mentioned, Lukaku up front, can Liverpool cope with that? I don't know. Probably not. It'll certainly get chances. Whether he'll put them away or not is another thing. But I was reading as well that no United player has ever scored 8 goals in their first 8 games. Andy Cole had 7 in 7. But yeah, it'd be a record for Lukaku if he scores at the weekend. To make it 8 in 8. So yeah, it's weird because whenever I think of this game, just over the years, I think of John Arisa scoring an absolute belt of a free kick. I actually remember John Arisa injuring Alan Smith as well from a free kick. And I always remember Liverpool losing that cup final to Cantona's late winner when they were wearing those horrible, horrible white suits. So they're the kind of things that stick out. As a neutral, I love this game.
But I mean, it's a massive game all around the world. I remember it has a connection with Liverpool and Man United. I remember when I was a kid, and we used to play this video game FIFA. I think that was like 96 edition or 97, one of the first ones. And we always used to play Liverpool against Man United. And we didn't support the teams. It was kind of either preset or it's so. What I'm trying to say, it has such a name, the big derby around the world, that the whole world will watch the game. It's the early afternoon kickoff also means that it will be massively watched also in Asia.
Yeah, good point.
So, as when I should predict this game, I had a look at the odds and the lines available. And one thing that points out for me is the 0 Asian handicap line. So draw no bet, and I would choose Man United at 1.8 for this one.
Interesting.
So I think this line is generous for the state of form that both teams are in, and I just can't see United losing this one.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Completely understand why you've gone for that. You mentioned form. I personally think form will play a factor a little bit. It is a derby, yes, but I mean, Liverpool haven't won in the last 6 games against United in the league. Drawn 2, lost 4. so that's not great. United always seem to be up for these kind of games, but the Liverpool fans as well, they'll be, the cliche 12th man. So that might help Liverpool a bit. Which is why I've gone for the draw at 3.33 on Pro Tipster. I actually think it'd be a 1-1 draw, but it'd be tough. But Martin Atkinson's reffing this game, and funnily enough, the last 3 games, 3 times he's reffed this actual fixture, United have actually gone on to win. So that's an interesting one. Whether they do that again on Saturday, I don't know. But they need to win because they need to keep up with Man City, because they'll run away with it otherwise. So it's an interesting game. As a neutral, I cannot wait for it. If you're a United fan or a Liverpool fan, I think you're going to be excited / really nervous about it. But yeah, it'll be a great one.
We'll watch that one. It's going to be a massive game.
Yeah, huge. Okay, let's move on to the 3 p.m. kickoffs. And the first one, let's get stuck into Burnley versus West Ham United. West Ham obviously being my team, of course, so I'm always a little bit biased on this one. I'm probably a little bit like Mark Lawrenson. I don't know if you know who he is, Tom, but he's a guy over here, used to play for Liverpool back in the day. He does a prediction league, and he always predicts Liverpool to win. So I'm a little bit like him. I think I'm always going to predict that West Ham are going to win, and that's exactly what I've done with this. I actually think we're going to go and win at Burnley at Turf Moor at the weekend. I've gone for the 2-1 win. That's the scoreline I think it'll be. But yeah, just basically the West Ham win at 2.72. It is a really tough one to call. But Burnley are in great form. However, if you look at the games we've played against them in recent times, they've lost 5 of the last 6 against us. We've won the last 4 in a row. It's stats-wise, it's all going in our favour, to be honest. And I think we've got a little bit of confidence going into this one. Yeah, we lost to Spurs 3-2, and we got embarrassed for the first 60 minutes of the game. But we got a solid win against Swansea last time out, 1-0 at home. And although it was only 1-0, and yes, it was a last-minute winner, we absolutely dominated that game. And if we can just get our shooting boots on and take some of the chances that we're creating, we'll smash one side very soon. I don't think it'll be Burnley, because I think that defensively, Burnley are actually a pretty good team. They've had a really good start to the season as well. If Robbie Brady starts for Burnley, he's the one person, personally, I think we need to keep quiet, because he always seems to score against us, which is really annoying. I think it's like 3 in 5 he's scored against us when he's played against us. So keep him quiet. I think we've got a big chance. And obviously no Tom Heaton for Burnley either. And that's huge for them, for their defensive line.
But I think they did well.
I'll say that again, Tom. I didn't hear that. I think I'm losing you there, Tom. Connection's not great.
Yeah, I think now it's back.
Oh, yeah, it's back. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so now I'll share my point on this game as a neutral. I have written with big letters, it's going to be a defensive battle. That's what's my feeling about this game. It's going to be great. A lot will depend on the first goal, who scores the first goal. If Burnley are going to score the first goal, I think they are up to it to win the game.
Yeah. But
at the same time, I can see your point in predicting West Ham to win the game. As you said, I think West Ham won four last matches against Burnley.
Yeah.
I'll speak particularly about one player, Marko Arnautovic. I saw him during the international break for the Austria national team.
Oh yeah.
Against Serbia. He was one of the key players, I have to say. I was really impressed by him. He had his ups and downs during the game, but you could see that he was full of confidence. He was important for the team, and he delivered. and could make a difference one-on-one and with his passes.
Yeah, definitely.
So to speak about odds and the outcome of this game, I'm gonna stay with what I said in the beginning. For me, it has the potential to be a game about the first goal and quite defensive. Burnley, they have to build on their defense. That's what their qualities are, the main qualities. So not sure if they have the potential to make a comeback if they are to concede the first goal. For this one, I choose less than 2.5 goals. The odds are not great, but I think reflect the qualities and the size that meet in the game. So it's 1.6 for less than 2.5 goals.
Yeah, I can see why you've gone for that. I can see why it's so short as well, because, like you say, Burnley are very defensive, will create a few chances, but we don't really take many. So, like you say, I think it could be who scores the first goal will win. Me personally, why I've gone for the West Ham win is that I just think if we start Andy Carroll, I think he'll cause many problems. I'm just not. Tom Heaton missing is huge for me, because I'm just not. Nick Pope is a young goalkeeper that's coming for Burnley, and he's doing okay, but I'm still not convinced by him. I don't think he's been really tested just yet. He's made a couple of good saves, but I think he'll be tested at the weekend, and I think we'll just have too much for him.
And what do you think about Hernandez?
Arnautovic?
Hernandez.
Oh, Hernandez. I love the guy. Let's be honest about it. But I'm disappointed that Bilic seems to be playing him out of position at the moment. He seems to be playing him out wide, but just to accommodate Andy Carroll up front. And it's weird because I think we should play them both up front. Andy Carroll winning a header and flicking it onto Hernandez to run in behind the defence. It's the perfect scenario, but it just doesn't seem to be working at the moment. So I hope Hernandez starts. Whether he will or not, I don't know. He got subbed off the other day against Swansea, and the fans went mental. They were not happy at all. So I hope he starts, and I hope he starts up front with Andy Carroll, or even starts up front on his own with Antonio just off him or Lanzini just off him, and Andy Carroll coming on as an impact sub, because that could work. But we just can't stick a player of Hernandez's quality on the wing when he's more of an impact up front. So that's my hope anyway. I love Hernandez. I just hope he starts up front.
All right, let's move on.
Yes. Palace v Chelsea. What are you thinking for this one?
We all know the big question. Are they going to score their first goal?
Well, it's $1 million question, isn't it? I actually think they might, They can't go another game without scoring, surely.
Martin, honestly, when we spoke last time on the podcast, when I joined you and Dan, that was before the game. Palace played, I think, away to City, and I think that was the game. And I was thinking that they might put up a performance and a good fight, but they lost 5-0.
Yeah.
And people should learn from their mistakes. So I'm not in position to trust Palace anymore, and especially when it comes to games against Chelsea and the quality that Chelsea possess at the moment.
Yeah, Morata's injured though, isn't he? So
Morata is a doubt. Yeah, Kante is out.
Yeah, so that's a big boost for Palace, really.
It is, but I still think that even with Fabregas and Bakayoko in the centre mid, and even if Batshuayi starts instead of Morata, it's huge quality that Chelsea have. I saw them playing in Madrid. I was impressed. They were quite unlucky to go behind, and they had to attack in the second half to come back. But still, I was pretty impressed how they played and the way Conte coached the team.
I think Simeone came out and said that it's the most intense team he's ever played against. and that's testament to Conte's tactics, really.
Might be very easily. So to come back with the Crystal Palace, I mean, I would wish for them to pick up some points, and it must be very difficult for the players to keep on playing and sitting on the bottom of the table with no goals, no points.
Yeah, it's disheartening.
It must be pretty difficult, but I think they've got Benteke absent, right?
Yeah, I think he's out for a little longer. So who have they got out front? They haven't really got anybody, have they? Sacco?
Zaha should be back, I think.
Yeah.
If they play 4-3-3.
Yeah, good point.
They might play 4-3-3 with 4-5-1 in the back when Chelsea will have the ball. So very difficult game for them. If Chelsea can keep their motivation and intensity, which they will under Conte,
yeah,
I can see them winning this game. Not to say easily, because in my opinion, and I did say it last time, there are no easy games in English Premier League for any team.
It's true. I mean, look at Chelsea. Look at Chelsea. They lost at home to Burnley on the first day, didn't they?
Exactly. So, but I have Chelsea to win by 2 or more. So Chelsea minus one, Asian handicap at 1.560. The odds are not, again, super great, but they reflect the situation of both teams.
Yeah, agree. I've gone for exactly the same bet as you, actually. My prediction, exactly the same, 1.56 for that. I actually think, personally, it might be about 3-1. I'm being kind to Palace. I want them to score. As a neutral, I just want them to score to get that silly record off their back.
I think people would be happy for them to score.
Yeah, even if they're 3-0 down and they score in the last minute.
It would, and I can tell you, it would be a big boost, even if they lose this game. But just scoring a single goal would be a really big boost, because nobody really expects them to pick up points against Chelsea, City, or these big teams, or United. But even this anything like scoring a goal can help the team confidence, and they can take it from there into their next game.
Yeah, I agree.
Newcastle away next, which is not easy either, but more probable than against Chelsea.
Yeah, if they can get anything out of it, it'll be a bonus. But like you say, I've gone for the same as you. I can't see them getting anything. But a nice little stat: Hodgson's never lost his first 4 games as a manager ever. And he's managed a lot of teams, so that'd be quite an incredible thing if he
will put under a big test this time.
Yeah,
I can tell you.
Yeah, for sure. And if Fabregas actually scores, he'll be the first Spanish midfielder to reach 50 goals in England, which is
and a third Spanish player, I think. Yeah, Torres. And who is the other one? Torres.
Costa, maybe.
Costa, I think. Yeah, you're right. It's Costa. Costa and Torres.
But yeah, I think we both agree Chelsea are going to win quite comfortably. But yeah, I personally hope Palace nick a goal. It'd be good for them, like you say, for their confidence.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to another one of the big boys, Manchester City. They're at home to Stoke this weekend.
Yeah.
Now, I think this is going to be a comfortable win for City, personally. Stoke, for me, haven't really showed any signs of being a decent side this season. They haven't got Ryan Shawcross either at the moment. He's out. So that's a big loss for them at the back. So they'll have Kevin Wimmer and Kurt Zuma probably centre-backs for that game. I think City are just have to... I know they haven't got Aguero, but he's back in training, actually. I saw a video of him back in training, but I don't think he's going to be fit enough to play.
He's not expected to play.
Yeah. And although I think last season this was 0-0, this game, so I just can't see it being 0-0. I think City have got way too much firepower, and I've actually gone. Let's score a couple of goals personally. I've actually gone for 3-0 City, but the tip on Pro Tipster I've gone for is under 3.5 City goals at 1.53. I was trying to find a little bit of value. I was really struggling to find any sort of value, so that was the best I could find. A comfortable 2-3-0 victory for City, in my opinion.
Well, City only conceded 2 goals in 7 matches, which is, even though they are first, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
With goal difference of 22 score goals and 2 conceded goals, that's amazing. So that's actually my favorite team in the Premier League. Don't laugh, Martin. But
the last time on the podcast, you said you got a shirt with your name on the back.
I've got, exactly. So, I mean, I cannot say I'm a big fan, but I like them. I mean, they've got this massive support at home.
What do you like about them?
What do I like about them?
Yeah.
Well, I started to like them at the times when Dilep played, with his long throw-ins.
Oh, yeah, we did speak about that before.
And they were super defensive that time. Like, they could win games 1-0 at home, and they really put up the fight at home. It was a team that, you could see the determination and the fans behind the team, and I liked it. And I think I read a book about them. That's why I also started, but I'm not sure about the name of the book anymore.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, playing City away would be a tough test. They're not in City. Stoke are not in a good form so far. City are up to it. For me, it depends also if Wallen plays or not for Stoke City. I think he's doubtful.
Yeah, he got injured for Wales, didn't he? He got concussed or something.
Cross is obviously a big blow for them. Hesse might return, or he's likely to return, which helps. But then again, having Hesse and Shaqiri, I would expect more from these 2 guys. I don't know. That's just my impression.
Yeah, I agree. I think Shaqiri's a great player. I think Hesse is a great player, but Hesse, I don't know if he's... there's certain people, in my opinion, that are built for the Premier League and can do something in the Premier League. And Hesse can do stuff in Spain, but I'm not sure he can transfer that to the Premier League. He started well. I think he scored in his first game, but he hasn't really impressed me since then.
I read an interesting stat for this game that Stoke City either kept a clean sheet or conceded 4 goals in the last 6 matches against City.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be reading this, it should be either a close match or they should get hammered by City. But personally, looking at the odds and the offer on Pro Tipster, let me find it. Here we go. To score less than 0.5 goals and 1.71 odds.
Oh, no, pretty good value there.
Exactly, and I trust Guardiola, and everyone is speaking about how offensively City are strong, and I can only agree with that. But me, as a person who plays in defense when I play football, I also look more at the defensive side. Of the, and City have been quite impressive in defense, and as a whole team, not just speaking about the defensive formation, but the whole team as they approach the game without the ball, and that's something Guardiola is pretty good at.
True.
So this is what I see value in. I think personally City will win. It's not going to be. I don't think they will score 4 goals. I think it might be like 2-0, 3-0.
Yeah.
But this is what I found value at.
No, it's good because another stat to back your prediction up is that Stoke have not scored away at Man City in 8 of their last 9 games.
That supports it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. We both agree on that one. That's good. Okay, let's move on to, well,
our favorite game of the week. Let's say.
Yeah, for the neutral, I'm not sure this one is going to be great, but it's Swansea versus Huddersfield.
Not sure I will watch this one, but
yeah, it's a tough one to call. I actually think Swansea might sneak it just. However, it could easily be a 0-0 game. It's really hard to call because I mean Swansea have had like 11 shots all season on target so far, which is the lowest in the Premier League.
One of the fewest in the Premier League. True.
Yeah, so they need to take their chances. I think I like Tammy Abraham. I think he's good up front for Swansea. If he can get a couple of goals, he'll press on and become more confident, and he might get double figures this season. I think Renato Sanchez might have a knock, so that will be a big miss for Swansea if he doesn't play.
True.
But yeah, I think I've actually gone for the 1-0. 1-0 Swansea win. I think I'll just edge it. So Swansea to win for me at 2.13. But yeah, Huddersfield, they started well, kept a few clean sheets, but they haven't scored in 9 of their last 14 games. So I just don't know. I don't know where goals are going to come from for Huddersfield, to be honest.
Remember the first thing I told you when we talked about this game before in the morning, and I wrote it. The first thing in my notes, 0-0. 0-0 game. Obviously, I can see your point about Swansea having the edge, and in case I should favor one of the teams, it should be Swansea. But personally, I believe Huddersfield stand a chance if they don't concede, or if they keep the game level for as long as possible. Because as you said, they started well, but even when I was on the podcast with you guys 3 weeks ago, I think that was before the game against Barnley, was it, or Leicester?
Yeah, so I think it might have been Burnley.
Yeah,
or Leicester. They drew for those, didn't they?
It was a 0-0 game as well. We already talked about that. Huddersfield will not keep their standard of their play as high as until then.
Yeah.
In a long-term run. I mean, good luck for them to keep it, but it's not easy in the Premier League to keep the momentum during the whole season. Swansea are a tough side to play. This part they're not in any great form, and are with 5 points. So
yeah, I think they're in the ranking.
But they're not the easy side to play, especially away. Mostly.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, just to cut in there, like I like your example. They're not easy to play because although we beat them last time. I think the end of September was the last game we played. We only won 1-0, and although we dominated the game, we found it really hard to break Swansea down.
Yeah, 0-0 for me. I just want to mention one interesting stat.
Okay.
That is, Swansea won 1 in last 6 Premier League matches against freshly promoted sides. That's quite an interesting one.
Interesting, yeah. That's a good stat.
So, of course, I mean, stats can be considered only in a certain way.
Yeah.
But I like stats personally because in the long run, they might reflect to something. But of course, this is just an interesting one to mention. For me, this is a defensive battle, one of the best games of the round, or maybe not, but 0-0. And the odds are very good for this. So let me find it on Pro Tips here where I added the tip. I think, Martin, you will add links to our tips, our profiles on Pro Tips, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that's in the guys. For anyone listening, if you in the description on YouTube, there's links to my Pro Tips to Martin tips for the Premier League and for Tom's. Just click the link in the description and it'll take you straight there. So
yeah, I found it here. It is, and it's under 0.5 goals, and the odds. Listen carefully, Martin. 5.51.
How much?
5.51.
Wow, that's incredible. That's really good.
That's a really good value. Obviously, they need to be lucky for that one to come through as well. But this game has the potential to be a low-scoring game. Let's say it this way.
Yeah. Now you've said that, we'll probably get the fastest goal in Premiership history.
If I keep with my form from last time, then you should better take it.
But yeah, I like your 0-0 prediction. That's really good odds. And something like we see over here, I don't know if you have it over there where you are, but this game is going to be last on Match of the Day. That's we have a program over here called Match of the Day.
Yeah, know about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so we show all the Premier League games, and the worst one gets put on last. So yeah, I think this will be last on Match of the Day.
Could be very easily, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Sorry, we don't mean to offend any Swansea fans or Huddersfield fans, but I can't see this one being a classic. Right, let's move on to Harry Kane. Spurs versus Bournemouth. What are you thinking for this, Tom?
So let me find my notes for this one. I think, yeah, you mentioned it correctly. It's Harry Kane against Bournemouth. Well, Tottenham they didn't win at home yet.
Well, no, they haven't actually. Yeah, good point.
So I think they can. I read that they can be the first side in the Football League history to win first 4 away games and not to win first home games if they don't win this one.
Yeah, I read that as well. That is an unbelievable stat. It's incredible. First team in history.
And I think Harry Kane, his last 13 goals were scored away from home.
Yeah, you're right.
Equal the record of Ryan Giggs, I think.
You're taking stats. I've got nothing to talk about.
Having said that, Spurs are big favorites for me in this one.
Yeah.
It can't go on forever, them having struggled at home. We expect some goals from Kane, but you expect goals from him always.
True, but with Spurs, you've kind of got, if Harry Kane's not firing, you've got it from all over the pitch. You've got Dele Alli, Son, Eriksen. Any one of those can score if Harry Kane doesn't.
True. Yeah, I can only agree with that. But then you have this Harry Kane, the personnel up front. In difficult times, he's there, and if he gets a good ball. But actually, I think he's the type of the striker who can actually play with the ball as well, not just be clinical in the area.
Yeah, I agree.
He can do something actually with the ball, which is like kind of an asset to a typical striker. So I like him very much as a player and his performance. So speak a bit about Bournemouth. I don't think they're under any pressure to get anything from this game. Although they are last but one. But I think they get out of this game is for them. I've read somewhere that they might change to their formation, their style of play to 5-3-2 or something like that.
Yeah.
But for me, this is a game that Spurs will usually win in 7 out of 10 matches or 8 out of 10 matches. They would win this game.
Yeah, I agree. It's Harry Kane's going to score. Personally, it's Eddie Howe's a good manager, but like you say, this is one of those games for Bournemouth where it's a bonus if they get anything. I don't think they will. I think Spurs will find it easy, and I just can't see where any goals or any threat's going to come from Bournemouth really. Maybe Jermaine Defoe, if he's on fire, he might have some say.
Talking about Defoe, another interesting stats. I love stats. Yeah. He scores goals every 798 minutes in Premier League. That's like 1 goal in 798 minutes. That's amazing.
Is that amazing? That's not great, is it?
No, that's amazing. That's not a great number.
Yeah. No, yeah.
That's what I mean.
I expected it to be a bit shorter.
A lot shorter for a player of his qualities. And don't get me wrong, I like him he seems to be a very nice guy off the pitch as well as on the pitch. So
Yeah.
I would just say he needs to score more goals.
Yeah, he's getting to that age though now where I think he signed like a 3-year contract at Bournemouth, but he's getting to that age now where he's not got long left. I don't think he's not as prolific as he used to be anymore. So yeah, personally, what I've gone for, again, this is one of those where I think Spurs are going to win comfortably, probably like 3-0 or something like that. But I've actually gone for the halftime minus 0.75 halftime Asian handicap at 1.73. That's what I've gone for.
For Tottenham game. Despite everything I said, I was looking at the odds and the lines.
Yeah.
And I was talking before we started discussing the games that, okay, this time I'm not backing too many underdogs, but you know me, I like to, not to say support the weaker teams or not the favorite, but to look for a value in there. And I think that the line is a bit high, the Asian handicap line.
Okay.
And for this one, I would choose Bournemouth not to lose by 3 or more. And yeah, the stake is back if they lose by 2. So it's +2 Asian handicap. And the odds are pretty good for this, 1.8.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I expect Tottenham to win.
Yeah.
But not to be, like a high win.
Yeah, it's another one of these games. If Bournemouth can keep it tight for the first 20 minutes, then they'll have a big chance of keeping it maybe like 1 or 2-0. But if Spurs score early, then it could be a lot.
True, I can see your point, and one of the games depends when they score and how they're going to set into the game, and if they can pick up the confidence with an early goal, it might change everything. So
yeah,
and likewise for Bournemouth, if they can keep the clean sheet for as long as possible, they can pick up the momentum. Certain situation in the game, they can give a really hard fight. So
yeah, agree. One question for you, Tom. As an Englishman, obviously, I'm a little bit biased when it comes to Harry Kane. Or even though I'm a West Ham fan, I still think he's unbelievable. Where does he rank for you in terms of the world's best at the moment?
Strikers or players?
Just players, yeah, players or forwards, really.
Okay, so forwards.
Obviously,
it's a different question, obviously, but
is he in your top 3, top 5?
Okay, let me think of my top 3, top 5. Top 5, I would say yes. Top 3, I'm not sure.
Yeah, top 5. Actually, I think you're right. For me, in the top 5, you've obviously got Messi, Ronaldo, Suarez, Lewandowski, and probably Kane for me, and that maybe Neymar.
I would have personally Ronaldo. Well, not saying the order; it's just top 5 in any order. Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar. Lewandowski or Aguero.
Yeah, Aguero.
And I would fit in Kane as well. So it might be top 5 or top 6, let's say, without giving any order. But I like Aguero as well as a striker. And Lewandowski, yes, but I mean at the moment he's not in his super best form, but he still scores goals. That's the good thing about him.
True.
But getting back to Kane, he scores goals. That's most important, and he seems to be also like a team player, which is good for Tottenham. He can play with the ball. He's not just a typical guy to score when the whole team works for him. So that's his asset, at least from my point of view.
Yeah.
So yeah, top 5, top 6, but there are little differences between these great guys.
Yeah, it's tough because I was sort of having an argument with a few friends and stuff the other day, and they like a couple of guys said, "Oh, Morata and Lukaku are better than Harry Kane," and we just got into an argument that nobody could agree. So I just thought I'd ask you.
Mm.
It's a tough one, but for me, yeah, Harry Kane's up there. Like for you, top 5, top 6.
Yeah, I think he's quite popular in England, isn't he? Because of also he kind of performs well for the national team.
Yeah, I mean, even the people that hated him at the start, even your West Ham fans, your Chelsea fans, and your Arsenal fans, they've accepted it now. They've kind of changed their opinion of Harry Kane. They just have to admire what he's doing. Some of the stuff he does, the goals he's scoring, is unbelievable.
Mm. Yeah, I can see why he's getting more and more popular.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Spurs' North London rivals, Arsenal. I think this is a late kickoff on Saturday. They're away to Watford. What are your thoughts on this one, Tom?
I think Arsenal kept 4 consecutive clean sheets in the last 4 games.
Yeah.
We'll miss Koscielny probably. Also, Ozil is doubtful. So, if you look at the standings, it should be a close game. I mean, Arsenal are on 13 points, Watford on 12 points.
Yeah, Watford started really well, actually.
Surprising Watford for me. I saw them. I saw their game against. I think it was the draw against Liverpool, wasn't it? Or that was not Watford. No, it was quite a time, a few weeks ago. I think that was Watford Liverpool 3-3.
I think you're talking of the last game they drew.
No. I mean, I saw them once. Just I have to admit, I saw Watford only once this season. But I think it was the game against Liverpool that they were winning. Then they were trailing by 1 goal. They drew 3-3
Yeah,
Liverpool at home. Tough. It will be a tough game for Arsenal, definitely.
Yeah, Watford. Look, they've only lost once this season, so.
True.
Watford they got battered by Man City, didn't they? But that's the only time they've lost this season. So it'd be
not the game you need to win if you're Watford. Okay, the home they shouldn't lost 6-0, but as you saw next week, Swansea away from home, they got a draw at West Brom. So their confidence didn't suffer from that huge defeat. So
true.
They're full of confidence, which definitely will help them against a team like Arsenal. I'm not sure. I think a draw would be a good result for them as well. They are not under any pressure. They are doing well. Even if they lose, not the end of the world.
Yeah.
They can play relaxed, which sometimes helps a lot if you're not under pressure.
True. Well, like you say, it's one of those. Watford aren't under pressure, but Arsenal are, because it's a game that Arsenal expect to win.
Exactly. So, and I think look at the Arsenal and their potential lineup, and you got like Sanchez, a very important player. He was at the international.
I was going to say, would you start Alexis Sanchez because look at his frame of mind. Chile are out of the World Cup. He doesn't really want to be there. Is he going to play 100%?
This is a very difficult question. I think it's a difficult question even for Wenger, not to say about me.
Yeah.
I would. I'm not in contact with him every day, like the coach or the manager. Sorry, just to speak in English terminology, but I would put him into the starting 11 for sure. I mean, his qualities are definitely needed for Arsenal. Or maybe, if not starting 11, then put him as a impact sub during the game, depending how it goes.
Yeah, it's one of those because for me, as a neutral looking at this game, and Alexis Sanchez, yes, he's probably Arsenal's best player at the moment, but yeah, he went to Chile, they lost, they didn't qualify for the World Cup, and also he's going to have a little bit of jet lag, isn't he? Because he's playing he probably only come back today or yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's might be a problem, but true. Could be a factor, but I think these players are kind of nowadays are kind of used to traveling, and obviously it's not easy to come from South America to back to England, but
yeah,
with how they uh, just look finding the right English word, recover after such trips and after such difficult matches, the methods have improved over the last few years massively. So I would give him a starting 11.
interesting. It's for me. Whether he starts or not, I think Arsenal will have too much for Watford. Wenger's just looking at some stats. Wenger's won 8 of the last 10 against Watford. And Watford haven't kept any clean sheets in the last 10 games against Arsenal. You mentioned Watford are in good form, but away from home they're in good form. Yeah, they beat Swansea and drew with West Brom in the last 2 games, but they were both away from home, and they obviously got battered at home to Man City. They drew 0-0 against Brighton at home. They haven't won yet at home, and I think they're going to struggle. I just can't see where their goals are going to come from. Troy Deeney, he hasn't scored 13 games, so I mean, for me, I just can't see Watford getting anything out of this, and I've actually gone for an Arsenal win, just an Arsenal win really. I think it'd be 1 or 2-0. I've just gone for an Arsenal win at 1.63 on Pro Tipster.
Believe it or not, Martin, but I am with you on this one, and I've chosen exactly the same thing. Arsenal to win at 1.3.
Nice.
And interesting, we didn't mention, but Alexis. Speaking about Alexis Sanchez,
Yeah.
he scored, I think, goals and made 2 assists in his 4 league games against Watford. So now I'm going to ask you: would you put him into the starting 11 or not?
Based on those stats, yeah, I would. But it's a tough one. I think for Wenger, you need to look at his mental state. I think, as a professional, he'll want to play, but he might be a little bit tired after what's happened in the last few days. So it's not. Or maybe start him, and if Arsenal go 1 or 2-0 up, take him off after 60 minutes or something like that. So,
exactly.
yeah, it's good that we both agree on that one. Let's move on to the next game of the weekend: Brighton against Everton. I believe this one's been moved to a Sunday for to be shown on Indian TV, although it's not going to be shown on UK TV, which is a bit weird.
Really? Indian TV?
Yeah, I think they bought the rights for this game or something like that, which is a bit strange. So normally, unless it's Europe, there's some games after Europe that get moved to a Sunday that we can't view on TV here. But if there's no Europe involved, any game on a Sunday, we should be able to view on UK TV, but we can't watch this one this weekend. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think it must be a classic if it's going to be shown in India.
I don't know if I'm not sure what the draw is. Like why Indian TV want to show this game?
I think I have to reassess my judgment on this game now, knowing that this will be shown on just that the Indian TV just bought special rights for this game. So I think I'm gonna reassess my selection for this game. Over 4.5 goals, let's say.
Oh wow!
No, I'm joking. Obviously, for this game, it's one of those tough games of the weekend. Which I told you that, Martin, that it's very difficult to. Everton lost 4 of last 5 games.
Yeah.
I think Koeman will be under pressure, or maybe a big pressure, to get a result.
I think he's massively under pressure to get a result. Yeah.
So Brighton, yeah, haven't seen much of them, to be honest. So I don't want to talk too much about them. But they will be a tough side at home, definitely. Last time when we spoke about the game against Newcastle that they played at home,
Yeah, I think I predicted a 1-0 Brighton win that.
you predicted, I think, their win, wasn't it? And Dan as well.
Yeah.
I predicted them to lose, which didn't happen, obviously. For this game, I'm going against them again. I'm sorry, guys, in Brighton. Looking at the odds and the lines, I think Everton will see something from this game, but I'm going for the safe option of Everton at Drowno bet or zero Asian handicap at 1.59.
Oh wow, I think that's quite low.
It's not a massive value, I have to say. It's not even a value at all. But that's when I was cruising through the odds and through the lines. This is the most logical outcome I would select.
Yeah, it's one of those you wouldn't put a lot of money on it just on that. You'd probably put it into an accumulator or something.
Yeah, exactly, or very low stakes.
Yeah. I've gone against you a little bit. I don't think Brighton will win this one, but I've actually gone for the draw at 3.11. Just because Everton are in bad form, and Koeman and Everton are under enormous pressure to win the game or to get something out of the game. Yeah, they beat Bournemouth a couple of weeks ago, but they were lucky to even win that game. And I think they've lost. Apart from that game, they've lost the other 4 of their last 5 games that they've played. They're in terrible form, but they have, like, reading the stat. I know you mentioned a stat for Swansea earlier about promoted teams, and Everton have only lost once in the last 19 games against promoted teams. So I'm like you, I kind of like a stat like that, and that stat's there for a reason. And I think it could be 1 in 20. I don't think Everton are going to win the game, but I don't think they're going to lose it either. Brighton are quite good at home, as you mentioned. I think they won the last 2 at home. Like you mentioned, Newcastle. I think the other one was West Brom, I think. So yeah, I've gone for probably a 1-1 draw. I can see both teams scoring. I actually like Pascal Gross for Brighton. I know you said you haven't seen much of Brighton, but he's probably the one bright spark this season, actually. And I was reading a stat about him earlier, and he's covered the 3rd highest distance, kilometre-wise, in the league so far. So he's everywhere. He's constantly running about and getting into space. And I think Brighton might have a little bit of success. I think he's 14th against 16th or something like that, both on the same amount of points. And I think they'll share the spoils. I think it'll be a draw.
Very, very good. Yeah.
Cool. Let's move on to what we've got. Got a couple of games left. Let's go on to Southampton versus Newcastle, also on a Sunday. It's another tight game for me. I know Newcastle are doing really well in the league at the moment. I think they're in double figures already, like 8th or 9th or something like that. Yeah. They don't score many though. But I've actually gone for a Southampton home win at 1.84. I think Southampton will just edge it, probably like 1-0 or something like that. Because Newcastle have not kept amazing stat. Newcastle have not kept a clean sheet against Southampton away from home in the last 26 matches.
That's massive.
And they've only won once in their last 16 away trips to Southampton. So based on that, they're not getting anything out of this game. But although, on the flip side, in contrast, you can say that Southampton haven't scored at home for 8. They scored, all right, against us, typically West Ham, they scored 3 goals, but apart from that, they haven't scored at home in 8 of 9, the last 9 matches. So they need to find goals from somewhere. And I think the bright spark they've got Shane Long up front at the moment, who seems to be keeping Gabbiadini out the side. And he scored in both of the games last time they met Newcastle in the Premier League. He scored in both games there. And I think if Shane Long scores up front, he'll get chances and probably will score. So I'm actually liking. I don't know what the odds are. I don't know.
I think long is it out for this game.
Yeah, he's got a little knock, isn't he? I hope. I mean, yeah, I'm hoping he does play, but even if he doesn't, you've got Gabbiadini, you've even got Charlie Austin that can come in, so you've got a bit of firepower up there, and Newcastle will keep it quite tight, which is why I've gone for a sneaky Southampton win at 1-0 or something like that. But yeah, just purely based on the stats for me, I just don't think Newcastle are going to get anything out of it.
For me, I agree with what you mostly said. For me, it's one of the most difficult games to predict this week. I think Southampton have a bit of a problem to score goals.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Newcastle, for me, are not great travelers. I have one draw at 3.47.
Interesting.
But I can see where your point comes from, and I also kind of agree with you that if any team wins, it's more likely to be Southampton than Newcastle.
Yeah,
but I can see this as a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, 1-1 draw. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, not bad. Right, so we've got one game left, and that's the Monday night game at the King Power Stadium. West Brom travel to Leicester City. What are your thoughts on this one, Tom?
So what I read that he should be back.
Yeah.
No Wardy, no party, so maybe there's time for partying at Leicester.
I don't know if they do much partying. They're 17th in the league.
Yeah. True. I think on Sunday and Monday we have very difficult games to predict. If you look at those games, this is not another tough one to call. You've got two teams which are not doing really well, especially Leicester, who, as you said, are struggling.
Yeah.
West Brom, I'm not impressed neither, to be honest. That kind of team who can surprise, for me at least, who can surprise any opponents at any moment during the season. For me, they're one of the most unpredictable teams.
Yeah, they are.
We don't have odds for this game yet in Pro Tipster because it's a Monday. I think we don't have because it's a Monday.
Yeah.
But from what we expect the odds to be, and I would say for this game, I would take Leicester at Asian handicap minus 0.25.
Okay.
The odds should be, I will now make just an estimation but around 1.8, 1.7. What do you think about this game?
It's a tough one. I mean, there's so many games this weekend, like you say, that there could be a lot of draws this weekend, and that's what I've gone for on Monday. In this game, I've gone for a 1-1 draw. I don't know what the odds are going to be. Probably about 2-1, so like 3.00 or something like that. But you mentioned Leicester haven't started well. West Brom actually started quite well, but they started well, but they haven't done well in the last 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
You know, they drew against us 0-0 when we should have beaten them. They lost to Arsenal, obviously, and they should have actually beaten Watford, but ended up drawing that game. But Leicester concern me as well. They're not great. 17th at the minute, 5 points. Only won 1 in the last 10 under Craig Shakespeare, and that's not great form, really.
Worrying as well.
It's tough. The confidence is going to be low in the camp. Vardy will be back by the looks of it, and Ndidi as well, which could be a big boost for them. But yeah, funny enough, I've gone against the stat here. there's actually only been 2 draws in the last 17 games between the two sides. So I've actually gone against my better judgment. I've actually gone for the draw here. But I read another stat that West Brom scored more set-piece goals than any other side in the Premier League. And I think that might be where their goals come from this weekend, if they get 1 or 2. No Robert Huth for Leicester. That's a big loss. Yes, they got Harry Maguire and Wes Morgan. But Robert Huth is a big part of what Leicester have done over the last couple of years. And West Brom could exploit that. Chris Brunt, if he plays, he always loves whipping in a left-footed ball into the box and causing problems. So, especially with Rondon up front, if he starts as well. I think West Brom have got more than enough to get something out of the game. So that's why I've gone for a draw. Leicester, they could win it. Like, I know what you're saying. They've got the firepower. They just need to build their confidence. And if they get an early goal, they could win it. But for me, it's another one of those games. It's tough to call. I'm not honestly sure what way it's going to go, which is why I've gone for the draw.
Honestly, Martin, as we said, one of those games that you would go low stakes on.
Yeah.
So
it's probably one of those games where I'd say to everyone, don't bother putting anything on it.
And exactly like for me, there are quite a few of them this weekend, not just Leicester, West Brom, but I would say the same about Brighton, Everton, Southampton, Newcastle, and maybe even Swansea, Huddersfield. Although there, my prediction is pretty strong one with a 5.51 odds. So I'm not going to say that, but there are quite a few tough games to call.
Yeah, very true. And another thing at West Brom quickly, they've got a young Scottish player called Oliver Burke. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Not really.
But he played in midweek. He signed from, I think he was at Leipzig, Red Bull Leipzig. And West Brom signed him recently. He played for the under-21s the other day. He scored and he looks good. I don't know if he's fully match fit to start the game, but if he plays any part for West Brom against Leicester, then I think he's got the ability to cause Leicester a few problems. So that'd be interesting.
Okay, let's see how it goes, Martin.
Yeah, let's see how we get on this week. I had a pretty good week last week when you were off. I think I got 8 out of 10 right. So
really,
yeah,
wow,
I think
that's amazing.
Dan got 6. So I got 8 out of 10. So if I can get 8 out of 10 or better, I'll be happy. But yeah, cheers for listening, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Let us know your thoughts. Put some comments on YouTube, and we will be back next week with Game Week 9, and Dan will return as well. So we're back to a threesome. Cool. Cheers, guys. Speak to you soon.
Thanks for listening.